Hey there, Lena from Xactimate Mastery here. Today I'm going to sketch a crenellated roof. And I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I just assume that's how it's pronounced. But you know how at the top of castles there's that like notch out? That's a crenellation. And this roof that someone sent over to me, it's a low slope, and then you've got these steep sides where the windows in the second story push out. So it was a very interesting roof to sketch, and I wanted to share it with you guys because it was unusual, and you might be able to have some good takeaways for some of the more custom roofs that you have to deal with if you do use Sketch. So let's take a look at what I think is called a crenellated roof here in Xactimate. So here's the view of that roof. We can take a look at it in 3D. Just hit 3 on my keyboard. We'll take a look at all levels here. You can see with the roof, it has these steeply sloped areas to allow for the second story windows to poke through, and we've got a low slope to this roof on the side. So that is what I'm going to be sketching, is this type of roof with these panels that reach down to the first story here and allow for the second story windows. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and sketch that low slope roof. So I'm just going to hit F on my keyboard and the roof will come up. It's a simple gable. And I believe it was a 412 pitch, and the default pitch for the roof is usually 412, so I will just leave it like that. I like to delete off these annotations. They get in my way, so I just turn those off for now. Hit the delete key. And I'm just going to throw in some random measurements here. I think it was around 45, and then the width, we'll say 25. And that is the low slope portion of the roof. Now, to get that crenellated look, we need to use our square break tool. So I'm just going to hit B for break on my keyboard and just start to square break away some of these areas. I'm just going to do them at random because I don't know the measurements completely, but we can just go ahead and start to break these away. And when I hit B for break on my keyboard, I'm left click holding and dragging to get that third middle handle for me to be able to pull this up like this. So that's how I'm achieving the crenellations, is by hitting B on my keyboard and then left click holding and dragging out to get that third handle here that I can pull up. And so it's just the left click hold and drag option that allows for this to happen. So this is all in theory. When you have correct dimensions from out in the field, it'll make this a little bit easier on you. But for today, I'm just going to go ahead and leave these as they are. It is 7'7" from the edge. There's probably typically a different dimension there, but you'll notice when I was pulling up the crenellated areas, again, I hit B on my keyboard, left click, hold, and drag, pull up that middle handle. It likes to snap to the one next to it, which is nice. So I'm not sitting here fiddling, trying to get it to match the one next door. It kind of snaps too. So when you set your first one, make sure that the dimensions that you need are correct here. So from roof edge to the inside of the crenellation, you'll want that set correctly. And then when you pull out the next one and pull it in, it'll snap to the one next door, which is kind of cool. So make sure the first one's set up correctly before you proceed. The next thing that we need to do, well, first let's take a look in 3D. We've got that look there. The next thing we need to do is fill in these areas. What's interesting about Xactimate is in the roof drop down here, you've got the flat shed roof. That actually is a plane, a roof plane, if you will. The way that they name it, flat or shed roof, really a shed roof is a plane if you know roofing terminology, but for a lot of people who start using Xactimate, the flat shed doesn't make much sense. But all it is a roof plane, if you can remember that. And we need to take this roof plane and we need to make it quite a steep pitch here so that we can achieve that. So I'm going to go with 24 inches, 24/12 on the pitch, and then we're kind of going to sneak it in here. I like to make it a little bit smaller than the area first, and I'll pull it in here, roof edge to roof edge. You'll notice that I have an outside line and I have an inside dotted line, not only on the flat or shed roof, but also on roof one. So that's going to be your eaves and your rakes on the gable. There's a rake, and if that distracts you, you can always go into the properties and make the eaves and the rakes 0, so that you don't see those dotted lines, if that helps you kind of with the thought process of what you're looking at here. So now you can see my roof edges are meeting my roof edges. And I can just go ahead and zoom in and pull this out to meet roof edge to roof edge. Also, if you remember on that example that I showed you at the beginning, this roof actually didn't have much of an eave. If anything, it was like 3 inches on the main roof. So in practicality, I could actually turn this down here to 3 inches, and that'll make it more lifelike. And then there actually wasn't much of a rake either, so I could change this multiple here. I could go down to 3 inches as well. And so what I'm going to do here in a moment is drop down the level below so that we can create the stories that are beneath this roof here. So we've got roof 1. Now I can just copy that roof 1, and I can right click copy, right click paste, or you can use Control C, Control V, because I already have the pitch of the roof that I want on that flat roof. So I'm just going to pull that in there, and then we can Control V or paste again because it's already loaded to my cursor. When you copy 1, it just keeps it loaded, and I'll just pull this guy up in there, and now you've got this problem. Okay, so what we've got here is these guys eave heights are trying to meet the eave height of the roof here. So we need to adjust the eave heights on all of these roofs, and I could have done that before I copied and pasted, but just for practical, I want to show you how crazy it would look. We're going to go ahead and right click on the roof and go to adjust height, and this is where you're going to kind of have to play with this a little bit. So we're going to need it to be below the elevation, and we probably need eave height A. Let's see if we can go to 0. What happens? It is a little bit under. So what we're looking at here now is it's a little bit under there and hasn't quite met the top of the roof. So we need to go up, and this is what I do is I just play with this. Again, if I had the actual dimensions out in the field, I definitely would not have so much trouble with this. So you do have to kind of play with the estimate to get it to behave. There we go. 3 and 2'2", looks like it. 12'2" there. It's hanging up a little bit, so I just need to adjust that down. And this is what I do whenever I'm working in this kind of environment where it's not real. All right, so it looks like 12'6" below the elevation is where we landed for this to meet up with the lower slope roof. So eave height A is a little bit above, and then the eave height B, I just matched it up so that it would look correct. Now what I'm going to do is add the level below. So for the main roof here, in fact I can rename this so you don't get confused. The main roof, and then I would actually rename all the subroofs too, but I won't bore you with that. We're going to right click on the main roof and generate rooms, and it's going to ask me what's the ceiling height, joist height. That all looks good. Left click OK. Now in 3D I can go and I can look at all levels, and we've got that look here. Now my roof is long, or has a maybe too steep of a pitch here. That's why you're seeing the room below. You're seeing like a little bit of a space below here. So that's how you achieve that look of that roof, and can see that you can add windows here. I can actually hit W here in 3D. I can left click, hold, and drag. Even though there's a no smoking sign when I have the window tool loaded, I can still put in my windows here in 3D and make it look like a real home, and you get the idea. But that's how you sketch this style of roof here in Xactimate. My name is Alina Wilson, and I train contractors how to use Xactimate. For more information on what I do, you can go to xm8mastery.com. Hope you guys have a great week in your business, and I will see you next week.